Hi, welcome back to another video on the Leyland tractor. I didn't get a video out last weekend because I was doing other stuff. I have got the wheels on the tractor now, and you'll see I've got the 3-point linkage bolted on the back. That's all painted. All the hydraulic pipes are now connected, and I finally fixed the leak on the diesel pump. That was pretty straightforward. I did start filming myself repairing the leak on the diesel pump, but the camera ran out of battery. But just for shits and giggles, I'll probably put that video in this one. It might be of help to someone. I'm no expert on diesel pumps. I was literally learning it as I went. I'll cover that shortly. I've got the 3-point linkage painted and on the back of the tractor, and I've got all the hydraulics hooked up now. I've got to, in a minute, I'm going to fill the gearbox, the axle and the final drives up with oil, and I'll throw some oil in the hydraulic tank and see if we got any leaks there. The radiator is on. Let me move you. If I can do that without tripping over. I'm so looking forward to getting started on this workshop. It's a mess. Okay. Radiator is on. Let me just adjust that a bit for you. There you go. I've got the radiator on, filled up with coolant. My radiator doesn't leak. I haven't even put any rad weld in it. It's good. Like I said, this radiator is not all that old, but I have crashed. The fan broke a blade off which hit the radiator, but it doesn't appear to have done any damage at all. I've got the air filter on. That's got oil in it, oil bath air filter. I have got an issue I'm going to raise with the paintwork. I have been painting this, as you probably know, over the last few months. It's been cold and wet. It's not great weather to paint in when you're in an unheated workshop. It's funnily enough, the last couple of days here in Hampshire have been nice. It's 19 degrees out today. The sun is shining. Was yesterday. So I am going to have to get on with some grass cutting soon, because we've got like 3/4 of an acre of grass needs cutting here. And if I don't keep on top of it, it grows wild fast. Right. So yes, hydraulics are on. 3-point linkage is on. Well, not the arms and stuff. I've still got to paint them. But the lift unit is on there. I haven't tested that yet. It's currently stuck in the locked up position. But I think I've got to get some fluid in there to raise the ram to release the lock. At least I'm hoping that's what the problem is. That was a problem before I started the tractor, and that you had to jolt the arms up a bit to get the 3-point linkage lock off. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let me get the old phone out. This little lever here that locks the 3-point linkage up. So if you were using the loader, which obviously I haven't refitted to this tractor, all my loader bits are down here. I don't know whether I'm going to be putting them on or not. But getting back to the issues with the paint. You'll notice that's very shiny and that isn't. That was painted 3 or 4 months ago in the damp. That was painted a few days ago with reasonably good weather. I'm kind of like treating this as a pre-assembly, if you like. I might come back in the summer and partially strip some of the bits off and actually paint some bits again. But I might not. It depends on how it looks once I've given it a good wash. But it is covered in dust. A bit of overspray here and there. I need to spend a day outside giving her a bloody good wash and polish, basically. But I am at the point where she runs, she warms up, my hydraulics are connected, my brakes are working, my clutch is working. I've got a few snagging issues I want to deal with before I move on to the bonnet. Well, before I get to the bonnet, I want to give the top of the tank another coat of light blue. Now the weather's improved. I want to paint the seat and the seat mount brackets. And that basically gets my tractor usable, with the exception of the bonnet and the wings. As you know, I've got reproduction fiberglass wings. They need a bit of work. Yeah, but if I could get the fuel tank and the seat mounts done, then I've got a seat. I've got the foot plates are obviously hung up here, painted. They're waiting to go on. I've got a couple of issues to deal with before I put them on. Down this side, my fuel pipes. Hang on, I'll fire up the old video again. Because with my expert editing skills, you can see. I put the fuel pipes on in a hurry to see if I can get it running. They're not sitting in that groove properly. They need tweaking. And also my new fuel tank tap, one of the pipes is leaking. So I've got to deal with that. And I want to tweak these fuel pipes where they come up behind the clutch and brake pedals. I want to tweak them so they sit in that groove properly. I think that's it. Oh, and the other snag I've got, sorry for waffling here, but it is what it is. The other issue I've got is down here, and this is a minor one. The quadrant, if I can get the camera to focus, hits that spring. Now, that quadrant was all bent. I had to straighten it all out, and the cross shaft was bent. I had to straighten that out. That is in a previous video somewhere. So I'm going to partially dismantle the brake pedal and cure that. That's really not a big issue, but it is to me. I want it to work properly. So yeah, diesel pump. Hang on, let me get the old video out again. Okay, diesel pump. Now, it was leaking out of the throttle shaft. I've got the throttle linkage set up now. It was leaking out of the throttle shaft. It needed an O-ring. I replaced the O-ring some time ago, and then it started leaking out of this tower assembly. I've put a new gasket and new O-rings and all of this, which is the video I've got somewhat filmed. It's not really helpful, but I'll throw it up. I'll put that here. Okay, I've got my diesel pump apart here. This is the tower on top of the throttle tower. I'm going to call it the, don't quote me on these names. I know nothing about diesel pumps other than mine was leaking. But this is the gasket that was leaking. Well, not this one, but the old one. That goes on there like that. Now, let me just put this together so I can show you what's going on here. Okay, that lived on there like that. These levers that go in here have got a slot in them that the bolt sits in. Sorry, get you in shot. This stops the levers coming out. Both these, my throttle lever, the O-ring had gone on it. So I've got a new O-ring on that one. And I put a new O-ring on the stop lever. Now, before anyone jumps up and down and tells me that's not how you do that, I don't know how the proper way is. I'm making it up as I go along here. But basically, the throttle lever has got this half moon on the end. I don't know whether you can see that. And as you turn it, that half moon pushes that down. That is your throttle. Vroom, vroom. There you go. I've gone for it. I've made tractor noises. That pushes that down, makes the engine rev up. This half moon on the stop lever, get you in shot here. This is some great videography here, isn't it? This one pulls the lever up, which stops the engine. Or at least that is my understanding of things. Don't quote me on it. So I'm going to put my gasket on, line it up with the holes. Right, now what I've discovered is you'll have trouble getting these levers back in if you just bolt this down. Well, if you put it down in position. If you bolt it down, you won't get the levers in because the bolts are stopping it. So what I've discovered I've got to do is, this isn't from experience, this is from me messing around, is to slide these in with it lifted up slightly so you can get it to locate in between that washer on the top and the plunger on the bottom, if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, and it's my diesel pump. So right, so this needs to go in. You want the half moon at the bottom, and you want to put that in until it clunks, and if it's clunked, it's engaged. I don't really think you can get that bit wrong, but don't bolt this down. You want this floating a little bit so you can get these in. Now I'm going to attempt to put the throttle lever in. Like so. And now with a bit of that one's working. That one's working. But now he won't go on. Oh, it's because I didn't have it on far enough. This is a great educational video, isn't it? Hey. Right, let's get that back in there again. Now when I say you want to lift it up a tiny bit, it is just a tiny bit. Otherwise you'll go past that washer and you won't be engaging nothing. Right, I've got that one in. No, I haven't. Does that engage between there? That one will. Okay. So ignore everything I've just said. Right, that's in. Let's try and get this one in. There we go, there we go. No, it's not. No, it is not. The other thing to remember is, obviously, ignoring the fact that I'm struggling to get this in, is make sure you put this on the right way around. Otherwise, you'll be very disappointed in yourself. Now, if you're asking me how I know that, if I've got no experience, it's because just before I turned the camera on, that is exactly what I done. Let me get me torch. Right, that washer is right down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick a screwdriver in that end. There we go. I've got a screwdriver in the other end just to lift that washer up. God. Maybe you put the other one in first. Let's try that method. I think it might be easier to do this with the pump upside down. That is just my observation. Right, this one isn't in properly, but it is holding the washer up. So I'm hoping, right. Right, that one's in. I know it's in because when I move this lever, I can see the bit of diesel down in this feed at the bottom here goes up and down. So something's moving in there. Now we can try and get the other side in somehow. God, he's not going. Put that one right there. I think you got to have this lever in the run position. This is run, that stops. This is operated by the pull to stop knob on the dashboard. That one is engaged. So I could put this bolt in. I've put new washers out the kit in there, and I'm going to put that on there just to keep it aligned basically. But you can't put these bolts in until both these levers are in, because like I said, these bolts not only bolt this down, they keep these levers in. Right, so we got our stop lever in. But that one's not going in. I shall look forward to reading if anyone puts a comment on this, and I'll probably go, oh yeah. Oh. I don't know whether that's supposed to come out of there or not, but it has. That was me fixing the diesel pump, and it worked. It doesn't leak anymore. So in terms of my engine, other than a dipstick tube, which I've still got to get on the lathe and sort out, the engine is done. It does start. I think I've got to tweak the timing a bit. It doesn't start as well as I would like, but it does run fine. Now, people are going to swear at me here. Like I said, I am not an expert diesel man. It's like dark art of magic or something like that. But the diesel pump has a little scribe line on the edge here, which lines up. I don't know whether you can see it in there. That little pointer. It won't want to focus, but that little pointer, that is the scribe line, and that is the pointer pointing at it. Now, I had to tweak some of the fuel lines to get them to go back on when that line was marked up, and I think the timing wants tweaking. Now, all I will do with tweaking the timing is I will start the tractor up, and if you'll notice, the pump's on elongated holes. You can just turn the pump. It doesn't turn easily, but you can turn the pump until it sounds better. That is not the correct method to time it, I'm sure, but it's the method I use and it serves me well. So I will probably play with that a little bit at a later date, just to try to get her to fire up a bit better. She hasn't run for 2 days. Let's see if she starts. I'll give her plenty of heat. And it's freshly rebuilt, this engine as well. It needs to run in, so it's not going to run its best until it's run for a bit and loosened everything up. But we'll see if it starts. Just letting the glow plugs warm up. Right, let's see what it does. It won't start because I just remembered it's run out of diesel. So we're not going to start it just now, but we will get it running later on in this video. Okay, I've had the tractor out. I've topped all the oils up. We've got oil in the gearbox, in the diff, in the final drive. Hydraulics are working. She's running well. I've given her a wash. She come up way better than I was expecting. I've just got to adjust the diesel pump timing a little bit. She's a little lethargic and doesn't like to start too well. I think I've got to move it that way a little bit. I don't know the procedure for timing these up properly, but I time them up like an old petrol. Just tweak the diesel pump until she runs at her smoothest and starts well. But I've got no knocks from the gearbox anymore. She's running well. Little bit of smoke, but that's pretty standard for a BMC diesel. I'm hoping that might improve with a bit of running in, but very pleased so far. I've sorted out the fuel lines. They're all tucked in properly now. I've got the steps on. I have kept the original, I have kept the new fuel tap I brought. I've just cleaned the olive up and got that to seal. Belts are running great. They're running smooth as. Very pleased. I guess get her back in the workshop. We'll paint the seat and the seat mount brackets and the top of the tank, and then I can put the seat on, and then we've just got to sort out the wings and the bonnet and a few other odds and sods. So I'm going to give it another wash off in a second and get it back in the workshop, and we'll see what we do next. Okay, I've forgotten what I filmed this week, so this ending of this video might not match anything that you've just watched, but some of it might. The tractor runs, it drives, it moves, it stops. I'm not 100% happy with how the engine's running. I don't know is the honest answer. I don't know. I've fiddled with the diesel timing. She does run, she runs fine, she idles fine. She needs the full 30 seconds of glow plugs to start when she's cold, which, it's been a long time since I've lived with one of these engines. This tractor, since I owned it, has been a beast to start. I'm still not totally convinced I don't need a new diesel pump. It could be getting tired, but I'm not about to drop 300 quid or whatever they are on another one at this point. I'm going to let it run in a bit before I look into that. The electrics are all sorted now. They are completely done. The throttle linkage is all done. Everything mechanically wise is done. You can take it out and drive it across the field. As you would have just seen, I've had it out for a wash. But yep, I'm going to call that it mechanically for the moment. These things are never truly done. I'm 95% happy with it. I might look into trying to find that extra 5% when I've got the rest done. But mechanically, she's done. So next, I've got to move on to some panels. I'm going to do the seat and the rear wings before I do. I'm going to leave the bonnet till last and get on with the wings and the seat. I'll just grab a wing. Right, here is one of my wings. They're going light blue. I haven't made my mind up whether to paint the brackets dark blue or not. What do you guys think? Dark blue for the brackets, or paint it all light blue? I'm leaning towards just going all light blue, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, that will be the next video, doing the wings and painting the seat. And I want to give the top of the fuel tank another coat of paint. I've already flattened it back, so it does need a bit more paint on it. But yes, mechanically we are done. We are moving on to pretty stuff. In the next week or two, we'll be tackling that bonnet. I'll just show you some bits that I've put on that I haven't filmed. Let me get my phone out. Right, the throttle linkage. I've got my foot throttle on. That is all functioning. Sorry, probably moving too quick there, I'll make you drunk. That is all working. Hand throttle working. I've still got to do the dipstick tube. I've just got a bolt screwed in it at the moment because it will put a bit of oil out there while she's running. I've got no leaks from anything. The oil paint stains on the floor for where I've had things undone. I've got to put some wire clips on the battery cables. I've put a battery, what do we call them, battery hold down clamp on the battery. That's now solid. We've got oil in the air filter, oil and everything. I've greased every grease point on it. She works well. It's just got to start on the prettification bits now. So, like I said, I don't know, I can't remember what I filmed this week, so this video might seem like a bit of a hash up, and that is because it is. So yeah, if you want to see what it looks like done, don't forget to like and subscribe. The subscribers keep going up. I can't remember what I'm on, 110, 115, something like that. I've had a few comments from people saying it looks good. Thank you very much. I'm quite pleased with it myself. It's splattered with dirt at the moment, but ignoring that, she looks good. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Tune in next week where hopefully we might get some, I would say tin work, but the wings are fiberglass. So we'll get our fiberglass tin work done on the back. We'll get it a seat. And if I've got time, I'll get the 3-point linkage all painted up so we can get that on. And then it's just tackling that bonnet. So, subscribe, click the little thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.